What is going on, guys? This is Yix here at Magnet Crypto, back again with another video. In today's video, as per usual, I'll be doing a market breakdown on the entire crypto market. I will not be doing that. I'll be doing a market breakdown on several altcoins that were requested by members in my private Telegram group. Today looks like a very interesting day. As you can see, another big red day. The correction seems to be in full swing. So stick around and let's get this show on the road. So, first and foremost, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and like this video. Join me on my journey to 1K subs. I'm almost there, not too long left. Also, if you want to join my private Telegram group, link for that is in the description. And if you want to learn the fundamentals, FA and TA, I've got a course completely free. Link for that is in the description. With that out of the way, let's get straight into the market. First and foremost, we're looking at Bitcoin, of course, the leader of the pack. Now, I drew this Fibonacci, I think, in the last 2 weeks. And it seems to be hitting the targets. I put this in my Telegram group and also in previous breakdowns. The Fibonacci is just one of those things that is in nature. You know, it just seems to be following the patterns in Mother Nature and also in the charts. We're all, you know, built from the ingredients of this earth, so it makes sense that it all somehow intertwines together. I don't know how it makes sense, but it just does. So these levels seems to hit, you know, on a fairly regular basis. Now, it's not 100% accurate. You can't stake your life on this, but it does follow. As you can see, like perfectly, it's at that level right now. Now, can it keep going? Of course it can. I think potentially, I don't know if I put it on the 4 hourly, maybe. Yeah, here we go. So on the 4 hourly, there's another Fibonacci in play. So this goes from 48 to 57, and 4 hourly is 45 to 58. So this is a slightly longer Fibonacci ending at this low. So they're slightly different. But you can see that the next major points on this Fibonacci are 38k down to 35k. So I could easily see this happening if the current levels do not hold from 43 to 42. And you can see here there's a major high that can easily be touched if the correction continues. Now, as I've said in the past, looking at historical data, we can, you know, use that data to predict with reasonable accuracy that the correction is going to last about 2 to 4 weeks. Previously, it ended near the end of March, like from the 20th onwards. So, you know, we're still quite far away from that. However, at the same time, this correction did start a bit earlier, starting from last week. So it could end earlier as well. And also, I posted in the private Telegram group, and this is fairly common knowledge amongst those that are reading into the financial markets. The $1.7 trillion stimulus bill in the US has been passed. Now, I don't know how quickly people will start receiving their money, or if they're going to maybe discuss some different things within the stimulus bill, maybe how they're going to allocate it to certain areas. But this could definitely have a positive impact on the financial markets. This could give it a boost to turn it around, potentially. If that doesn't happen, though, the correction could have another 2 to 3 weeks left before it, you know, we find a bottom and before we start reversing. But I can see this high or this area being the next target. So around this point, definitely is possible. If we measure that, that wouldn't even be 30% yet. So previously 30 to 35% is about the average of how far the correction can go. So 38k could be that kind of magic number before it could be like a spike to 38k and then we reverse. We'll have to see. as time goes on, but these levels are, definitely quite accurate, as you can see. So moving on to Ethereum. So Ethereum, the levels, so the previous high that normally is support, or it flips into support, isn't holding too well. At the moment, we are still at that point, so it could turn around in the next week or so, but it's hitting that pretty hard. So there's a good chance that it could break past and go to the next level, which is around 1,000, about 1,200 to 1,000, anywhere in between here. If that is the case, let's see how far that would have taken us. That would have been almost a 50% correction. So, for Ethereum, I think that would probably be enough. I wouldn't see it go too much further than that. If it does, then by all means, that means huge discount on the Ethereum. I would definitely add to my position. Speaking of adding to positions, as I said in the previous breakdown, this is the time where you need to really, now, as I always say, it's not financial advice, but at the same time, this is the time when you really need to change your bias from, kind of being fearful and thinking, let me invest when it starts to turn around. This is the time when you need to be looking at this as, okay, I've been looking at Ethereum for a long time and I missed the boat. Let me add a position in now while it's still at these prices. By all means, if it carries on breaking further down, then you add further to your position. You use dollar cost averaging. This is what I've been doing during this correction at other projects which I've wanted to get a higher position in. I've been adding more positions as it's breaking down. So you got to think in that manner if you really want to make more profits in this bull run. You don't want to wait until this correction is over, it turns around, and you've missed your opportunity to get your favorite projects, the projects you've always been wanting, on sale. So moving on, let's move to XRP. So XRP, it just looks like although the project I'm a big fan of, it just looks like a depressing coin sometimes. Look at this double top chart pattern. It looks like it's about to break down all the way down to 30 cents once again. At the moment, it's at a crucial support level. You can see there was a wick over here, and a few times this has acted as support and resistance. But that's the point it is at now. Knowing XRP, it might rally, hit that again, and then break all the way down to 30 cents. With XRP, it's probably more profitable to be bearish most of the time. But that's what I see with XRP right now. It looks like a double top. If that is the case, then it could easily break down to the low point, the valley, and potentially even further on. There's a long-term trend line, as you can see, in play, so it could retest that once again. At the same time, XRP is just an erratic coin. It doesn't really follow TA too much. So there's also another chance that it could just break past and make a new high. Very unlikely though, I would say that. I'm definitely on the bearish side with XRP, much more than any other coin. Let's move over to Litecoin. So it's been correcting, of course, with the rest of the market. What I'm looking at now is there is actually a fair amount of support in this zone right over here, around $140 to 147, 148. You can see here that there was previous support here, and then there's a major high over here. Although support, it broke down below this previously. Often, if people are bullish on Litecoin, then I can see this becoming new support. So it would essentially then create a higher low. So it would be in between these two highs and lows. That's what I'm looking for with Litecoin going forward for the next support. If that doesn't hold as support, then the next level would be down to around $115 to $120. As you can see, all these wicks went down to that level. And there's also a major low previously back in 2018. And actually, you can extend this a bit further to also include this wick from back in June 2017. So that's the next level of support for Litecoin that I see. Let's move over to Ocean Protocol now. So Ocean Protocol unfortunately did not hold the $1 support, or did not turn it into support. That would have been a very, very bullish indication for sure, because $1 is of course a big even number. So if that held a support, that would have been extremely bullish for Ocean Protocol. However, of course, the amount of selling pressure in the market right now, unfortunately, it was not able to hold. There is a Fibonacci in play though, using this low created back in the end of January of around 50 cents, 54 cents, and using this as a high. There is a Fibonacci in play. Currently it's at 0.618. So if that doesn't hold, which it's an altcoin and the market is quite bearish, so if it doesn't hold, which it makes sense that it won't, the next level would be around 68 cents to 70 cents. And that would coincide quite closely with the previous high at 62 cents. Often the previous high becomes support. It turns from resistance to support and it makes that flip. So I can definitely see this area. Let's highlight that. I can definitely see this area being final support before reversing. But of course we have to wait. With any crypto, with all the cryptos that we're looking at, we have to wait to see the signs of that reversal. You know, it could be a double test, it could be a double bottom over time. We have to see as time goes on. But that's what I'm seeing with Ocean Protocol. Still very bullish on Ocean. Of course, there's a lot of good things going on, especially with them building on Polkadot, with them moving their entire project over there, or replicating it over there, which will open it up to that whole ecosystem when it does go live. Next, we'll have a look at Singularity Net. One coin that I covered a little while ago. One of those little gems that's done really well actually, since covering it, and even before I invested maybe around this point or earlier on, and since then it's done very well, about 5 to 6, 7x. So currently, since it broke out from this double bottom or this cup and handle formation, it's retested previous support around here, and currently it's basically in the middle of no man's land, because there isn't any weekly support around this area. So I can definitely see it breaking down further down into that support region over here. If that doesn't hold, then we may go all the way down to about 0.073 cents around here, which would be quite a drop, about another 50 to 60% drop. This is a small cap coin, so it does make a lot of sense for it to drop that much. On the daily time frame, you can see that this area is clearly a key level, acting as resistance previously on several occasions, and then becoming support or a consolidation region going forward. So if this breaks down, which as I said, there's a good chance of that happening, this would be definitely the next major support area, as seen on the weekly time frame from here, from about 0.70 to about 0.08 basically. Looking at it from the Bitcoin pair, which is very important because this has decent volume as well. The last time I broke it down or did an analysis on Singularity Net, this was a major resistance area, long-term resistance area, and that I was concerned, of course, that I was gonna push it back down. It has, which is a bullish sign, broken past this, and it's currently using it as support. So if we can see some higher lows and higher highs being created up into the next support, up into the next overhead resistance, and then of course to break past it, that would be a very bullish indication. And I could really see, because this is a clear bottom, I could really see a uptrend starting on the Bitcoin pairing. So I can definitely see that happening on the Bitcoin pairing, which would of course be very bullish for the future of Singularity Net. However, if it breaks down from this level, then I can see it revisiting the previous low that was created in the last year or so. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this. For sure, this overhead resistance is also the next obstacle. Once it gets past this though, I mean, I could really see this flying up until, of course, the next area, which will be on the Bitcoin pairing about 140% up from here. But you can see there's a structure here, but there isn't too much in the way for Singularity Net. There's not much activity, as you can see from this chart. Past this point, it's you know, it's price discovery on the Bitcoin pairing. Little coffee break. So a bit of background on me. I'm from a country called Eritrea, and there is a big coffee tradition in my country where they brew the coffee at home, roast it, and do the ceremony in front of you. So here's a little background information on my country and myself. And the coffee from my country is exquisite. So let's move on to another request, Reef Finance. So Reef is, of course, in the process of correcting, and it's in the process of finding its next bottom, like every other crypto. So on the weekly time frame, it looks like there's definitely some further room to the downside until the next low. So there's a good 25% left until the next major support area that I can see on the weekly time frame. If that doesn't hold, it is very scary to see how far it will go. It'll be another 63%. Definitely possible with smaller cap coins. It's very easy for them to correct further and further down and to lose a lot of gains. However, if we look at the daily time frame to see some further clarity, there is actually some major support at the current level that it is at. So 0.025. So you can see here a clear high was created when it first came out, and then once it corrected and made a rally, it became support. It became resistance once again. When it broke past, it became support. So now it's currently using this as support. If it doesn't hold, there is a little bit more support around 0.01, and that's about 30% correction. Definitely still possible. It could be just a case of like a wick down and then a quick recovery, and that's definitely still possible. And I can see that being quite likely. Let's see if there is a Fibonacci in play from down here to this level. I would say not really. As you can see, that it's respecting the levels a little bit, and it's definitely still possible. And it does coincide with this being support as a 0.618. But I guess we'll have to see as time goes on if it does respect it, and if it does rebound from this level. But at the moment, it's a bit hard to tell if it is respecting it or not. So all in all, on the weekly, I was saying there's still some room for further downside, but not too much. About 25% for altcoins is not too much. And then I see quite a lot of room for upside. Once we finish the correction and start rallying up, there is a lot of room for upside. And as I said, if you're bullish on Reef Finance, this is when you add to your position, because you're not going to get Reef at these prices again. I'm not saying necessarily to invest in Reef, do what you want, but I'm saying if you are bullish on this project, then now would be the time to add to your position and not wait until it's past its previous high and it's up 50%. So, you know, once it does break past this level, there's a good 10x. So whatever you put in now would be a 10x once it gets to its ultimate high at 30 cents. So, you know, do with that information what you must. Last but not least, we'll look at 1 inch. So 1 inch, similar to Reef Finance, it hasn't bottomed yet on the weekly time frame. The next level, which it's a wick to already, there was wick resistance here, and now it's become support. is at about $3. So, but this isn't strong weekly support. Normally we'd like to see some kind of high or previous low. That would become good support, because there's a lot more volume there. There's a lot more sell orders or buy orders that could be converted. However, these are just wicks, so it's very hard to tell on the weekly time frame where it's gonna find support. At least with the Reef Finance, there were a few candles that indicate that there were lows at these previous levels, but with 1 inch there is no such thing. But if we move to the daily time frame, we can see this has become support about $3.69. However, it's now tapped it for the second time and it's creating lower highs as it's doing that. So there's a good chance that it's going to break down from here and then test that wick or the rejection from this area at $3. There's a good chance that it's going to test that once again. And as you can see, there isn't much support here until the next breakdown to about $2.30. So I can see that as being quite good support, and it goes in line with the trend line that is spotted here. So there's a good chance that we could test this, potentially wick down into $2.24 or $2.30, and then go back on the upside. I myself am quite bullish on 1 inch. So as I've mentioned previously, I've been adding to my position for 1 inch for sure, because I think it's going to do well. I've used 1 inch, the exchange, on a number of occasions, so I quite like it. It's a decentralized exchange, but it's an aggregator, so it looks for the best prices on all the exchanges and then gives you that price. So but I see further downside with this for sure. So it's another good 15 to potentially 36%. But of course we have to see as time goes on what the charts are telling us. It could reverse before that or not, so time will tell. But to summarize what I've been seeing, we're definitely in a full-blown correction, and a lot of the cryptos have not shown any signs of bottoming out just yet. They're still in the phase of figuring out where it's going to reverse. Bitcoin is looking like he wants to go further down. Ethereum is at a crucial level, and all the altcoins are still a fair bit from their next key support levels. Now that doesn't mean that it can't reverse from this point, but that's what the charts are telling us, and we have to see how it behaves as time goes on in the next week or so. So I hope you got some value from that. If you haven't subscribed just yet, do join me on my journey to 1k subs, and yeah, hope you got some value from that, and see you in the next video. Peace.